before we go, thank you for coming. It's kind of an exciting time for the organization. We have had a long dormancy, and over this last year, had some incredible opportunities that we'll talk about here. Tonight, I've got, so I'm going to go through a few things here. Here we are. If you can see the screen here, I've got a short slideshow here. That's where we're at. I want to dedicate tonight's meeting to the memory of Reverend Joan Sabatino. In pure Reverend Joan Sabatino form, it's going to be hard for me to talk about it without crying. But Reverend Joan was one of our co-founders for the center, and a lot of other folks are in the room. Many years ago, she was our co-director and just an incredible organizer. She wore many, many hats for myself and for lots of folks in the room and across the state and many places. But for us, she was just an incredible force for good. Led our campaigns from a place of love. Was unwavering in that. And so her passing for a lot of folks was devastating the last year. Too soon. She was doing so much work. We lost a lot of folks, actually. At some point, we'll have tonight's agenda, I'm excited about it. We have had meetings before, and most of the feedback has said they've been boring. So we've tried to jazz it up a little bit. We've got 6 stations. It's sort of a madcap thing. We're going to try to get ourselves into 6 groups. We're already a little behind because we were supposed to have name tags with numbers, and that's on me, but we're going to have to get in 6 groups. I'm a math teacher, so I think I can do it, but you'll have to keep those groups. And we're going to move around the room. There's 3 discussion spots. What's Next in the past has been a great opportunity. It's strategically located here right after the election, so we can think about what's next for folks who are interested in moving a progressive agenda that I'm supposed to talk about here. What's next here under a new landscape for folks, and so it's strategically placed here. These discussions that we have, a lot of times I feel like it's just flip charts and markers, and what do we get out of it? In 2016, and I've been talking about it for a while, in 2016 we were in a really similar spot where we had an election that kind of blew our minds away in terms of being progressives, and we had a meeting like this, and out of that meeting came our sustainability task force that turned into the actual county sustainability task force. Out of that meeting came our racial justice task force that led to a pretty, I don't know, as far as a woke police chief, we had one, and it was guided by a lot of that work. And we also had some real work in terms of expanding access to healthy foods at the farmers market. So my point is, these meetings, these discussions are important and they go somewhere. But they're also kind of boring. So in between here, we have some games. And so we'll split up, and every 10 minutes, you're going to rotate between 3 discussions. One back there, one starting back here, Where We've Been, starring Peter Broad and some other folks. Peter's been, a lot of other folks have been there since the beginning, sort of Susan and a lot of folks. So kind of where we've been, where's the background? You should look at our timeline. There's been an incredible timeline. There's a big gap, but we've really done some amazing, look at our timeline, so the discussion there. Where we are right now is back here. That's the other substantive conversation. And that will be some of the folks that have been on our board that I'll recognize here in a minute. Brandon is there. I think Tina's going to be there. This year's been incredible. We went from being a $5,000 organization to a $150,000 in about like a couple of months. And so we are ongoing in a number of projects. And then here is really the exciting booth. This is where we are going. But you only get 10 minutes here, so you better talk fast. And we'll have Allie and Jeff here helping us to facilitate and actually jotting down what's the vision? Where do we see the role for the center? We already have some funded projects that we're going to talk about, and the landscape is different than we thought it was going to be when we started planning the event. But that's the project. And then we've got 3 stations over here. One is Jenga. If you pull, everybody will just go along and pull one. If you pull the one and the whole thing collapses, you're responsible for the collapse of America. We'll play pool, just take a shot and move along, take a shot and move along. I don't have a clever joke for that one. And then you also play shuffle puck, and you just take one shot and get it as close to the line as possible. Not too left, but just left enough to actually be right on the line there. So simple games, and the idea here is that you guys have these conversations. We move around the room a little bit. You're going to be in the same group, so when you're talking about sort of where we are, you only have 10 minutes. I'm going to buzz the buzzer, and you're going to move, but you'll go and play a game and continue that conversation. That's the idea. So we'll be moving around the room quite a bit. I'm going to buzz the buzzer every 10 minutes, and you do got to move. You can continue your conversation to the next game spot, but you do got to move. Lots of mobility issues. Nobody is going to tell anybody to move if they don't want to move. I'm just suggesting you move. I don't think anybody has to worry about me telling them what to do if they don't want to do it. So that's an hour. We're going to take a break, then we're going to come back. So this is our membership meeting. As a 501c3, we need to have an annual meeting, and we need to have certain business. And one of those pieces of business is to elect a board and to adopt a budget. And so those are two things we'll do. We'll come back. I hope people become members today, and then you can vote on the board or run for board. And we'll talk about that right about now. We've got a slate of folks that we're talking about. So we'll come back and we'll have a short meeting. It won't be an hour and a half. It'll be a half hour. That should go 7:30 to 8. That should not go to 9:30. It'll be a half hour. It'll be hopefully a short conversation. So that's our agenda. I just want to have a quick conversation, a quick thing about this landscape where we're at. I don't know if you can see. It's what if we lose? Then we keep fighting for the rights of all people. What if they win? We keep fighting for the rights of all people. This is what we do. We're here. We do. The center has been had a really, really big year. It's a really exciting title for me to write an annual report. Please take a look at it on the where we've been. It's particularly this year. It's been a really, really incredible year, going from almost nothing. This is true. Our sustainability mission was funded. We were hoping to do certain things, and all of a sudden, literally, stuff almost walked in the door for us. And it didn't come from nothing. I want to talk about our current board right now that has been doing all this work. That's been really come together to say, and really, gee, can the center do this grant? So Shireen Hess is here in the room. She's our co-director. Brandon Vick over here has been our treasurer for the last year and has gone from my notes to actually making it real. Tina Perdue has been our secretary over this last year and is been with us forever and ever and ever. Liz Cook is over there in the corner and has also been part of our board for this year. Judy Holliday is also there in the corner. There you are. Sorry, Judy Holliday's right behind you. And there is also Peter Broad has been on our board forever and ever and ever. Kyle Mudry is in the back. Thank you. Hilario Molina is over here. Say hello. Thank you for coming. And who's not here is Sybil Peoples. And that's it. Who's not here? That's pretty good. These folks have been have really pulled it together to go from being for almost dormant to moving as a real organization. And thank you to these folks. Tonight's a board election, so this group has the way we put ourselves together. This group has been a transitional board. This is the night that we're going to elect a full-time board. If you're interested in being part of this board, right now is the time to be like, hey, I'm kind of interested in this. And there's actually a form here, right on the end. You can self-nominate. Nominations, according to our bylaws, are officially open right now at the beginning of our annual meeting. So nominations are open right now. You can self-nominate. If you're like, man, I'd like to be a part of this organization, it seems really cool, you should put your name on here, and chances are we're going to vote for you. It's not exactly a competitive election these days. Everybody is very, very busy, so we appreciate your time when you can do that. Member roles, previous board members didn't have to worry so much about fiduciary responsibility because we had no finances. But as a board member, the big deal is your fiduciary responsibility for the finances that come in and out. We have a number of committees that board members would serve on, either executive committee, leadership committee, membership as well. Overall, the board's responsible for broader strategic development. Following this meeting, we'll have a board retreat, and we'll really think about what's happening next year. We are really looking.
Sorry, if somebody wants to be nominated, like who do we tell?
You just put your name on there, and you're going to tell this person right over here. Hello, right over there. Okay. Yeah. And community organizing, what we're really looking for, particularly looking to reach out into the broader county, particularly around coal communities. So if folks have connections in there, we're really interested in really reaching out into a more rural area. And then fundraising. A lot of our board members have their kind of finger on the pulse in various funding streams, and so being able to bring those in is great. If you're not interested, so you are interested in nominating yourself or somebody, right over here, will you raise your hand? Over here is our membership table.
I have to go.
Oh, she's gonna go. So over here is gonna be the membership table, and either
There'll be
Ella will
someone
be
here.
there or Hallie will be there. This is the other piece of it. We're hiring, this is kind of some exciting, we're hiring executive director, we're building very, very rapidly. So the other folks that I want to introduce are our staff that we've hired. Jonathan Smith, that we've been working with for the last year, he's not here tonight. Allie, where's Allie? She's out at the table. Allie, there she is. She's responsible for most of the emails and all the tabling. So give her a round. This last year has been incredible and has been working with us. And Ella has been our administrative assistant there and doing lots and lots of design for us, including all the flyers you see. So thank you to her. The next thing is our membership call. This is also a membership meeting. So one of the things that you all have there in front of you is an opportunity to become a member. It's $25 if you become a member this evening. If you want to be on the board, you have to become a member. But you can become a member this evening. Become a member this evening, then you can vote for the board. And in particular, you support the organization. We have more funding streams, but having grassroots support opens many more funding streams for us. So we appreciate any of that kind of support. And there's a door prize. There's a door prize. Make sure you get a ticket. There's a door prize. Make sure who has the tickets for door prizes? If you didn't get a ticket, make sure you get a ticket for the door prize. Thanks to NAF and also NAF and Commissioner Hess for those door prizes. There's a survey out there. Thank you for those door prizes. So we'll do that. We'll do that at the end of the round. So you got to stick around to all 6 rounds for the door prizes. Please do stay connected with us if you haven't already. I really appreciate the folks coming. I'm interested in how you heard about the event, so I may come around and sort of ask you about it. But stay connected with us, sign up, and we're about ready to do with our games. I'm only 5 minutes over. We'll have a budget conversation here at the end. The thing I wanted to highlight, and then Brandon had to up it, is this number. That's $243,000. And we were at 5,000 at this time, 3,000 in dormant at this time this last year. So we've ramped up considerably. I also want to mention it's not just been us. We've upped our fiduciary responsibilities. So we've hired legal help, we've hired financial help, and here's Tina Perez, who's our legal help. And we've also hired on some financial folks that I don't know if they're here or not, but we're building quite a bit, very, very rapidly. If you know folks that might be our executive director, I think that just got posted today.
Yep.
Shereen, I babbled a bunch for a long time. Did you want to?
I just think well done. It's been an exciting year, and this group exists. This organization got its 501c3, so that confers a lot of things, but it means that we're taking up some space in Indiana County in a good way, in a progressive way. And so stay tuned. We don't have it all figured out, for sure. And there are some moving parts, for sure. But we know there's a lot of smart minds and a lot of dedicated people here. So we look forward to some important and meaningful activities happening in the near future.
Is there a question?
I do have a question.
Yeah.
I found out about this through the Unitarian Church while grieving, obviously, the election. And I was like, okay, I want to get more involved in local community and make an impact where I can. And I was sharing it with my friends, and it was brought to my attention that there was a board member here who had like domestic violence charges against him and pursued, like, I don't know, I was reading about like a course for it. And I think with the state of the political climate with electing a president who also has those allegations and has done that, it brings me like a level of uncertainty in being in a space like this. So I don't know if you could offer any reassurance or know anything about that.
Yeah, I guess the only reassurance is I stand very strongly behind all our board members and the work they've done, and I guess that's all I would want to comment.
So you feel like
I feel really strongly about our board members, yeah.
even if
I think, yeah, so
Yeah, I don't. And I feel like a lot of us don't.
so you're.
So we just have a president who was elected to the highest place in the country, who is a convicted rapist. And having someone who has had domestic violence charges pressed against him and broke his wife's collarbone.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
So I
And my
hear
friends
you.
didn't even want to come. Like, so I'm sure we all feel this way, that we want to have our energy put into something positive and we want to change things.
Sure.
And we don't feel comfortable coming to a place that has someone like that in charge. Even if, as you say, I know the allegations were dropped. That's not because it didn't happen. It was because she didn't want him to lose his job.
So like I said, the board has come together on a slate of nominations, and that's it right there. If you are interested in supporting that slate of nominations, that's
do you
fantastic. I
understand why
invite
you
you.
feel this way?
I
though,
certainly do.
Kevin?
I've got eyes wide open. I'm relatively close to this area, and
Yeah.
close enough that I feel kind of awkward talking about it right now. The point is, this board feels very confident about this slate. If you're not confident about it, then
Then you don't want our support.
Then
Then you don't want us involved.
You can nominate a
It's
different
actually
board.
quite
if you-
relevant that they're bringing something.
Thank
up.
you.
I'll be honest with you, I'm not aware of it. I didn't know about that.
Okay.
So as someone on that slate, I would like to talk to you privately.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll just say I'm willing. I'm really interested in being treasurer. I have a really extensive finance and accounting background, both for profit and for nonprofit organizations. A lot of board experience as well. So I did plan on putting my name up, and it's specifically I'd be going against said domestic abuser, but. I know like my friend Jerry Ann is interested in potentially being on the board, but she won't be if he's on as well. I'm really interested in this organization, this community, and so just mentioning that I hope I can get your support. And I think just generally for the public, there are a lot of people who are aware of these arrests and allegations and things, and I do think that, again, I may be a better choice.
So I appreciate it. I would definitely suggest put your name, become a member, put your name in the slate of nominees. At the end of the 6 rounds, we'll come back together. And we'll probably have a slate of nominations. What we've done before is we've had, anybody who was interested in the organization was able to sort of join on, and so all the folks there have been kind of vetted by the current board. So those folks will be on there. And then if you guys are decided to become members, then fantastic.
We are
Then you-
members.
Fantastic. So you can vote for other ones.
Okay. And for anyone who wants to know the person that we are trying to not be on the board, that is the reason that we didn't want to come here tonight, is Brandon Vick.
Okay. Appreciate you coming and letting folks know. We're going to try and break up at this point and count off by 6s. So like I said, I'm a math teacher. And lots of times I gotta hear stuff and just sort of press right the fuck on. So we've got six groups we gotta get into, and let me see. So we've got 6 folks. We really needed to have name tags here.
Do you just want to count off? Or?
We want to count off.
Yeah, can we do that?
If we count off 1 to 6, that'll do.
Or
Can you
just-
guys? So here's the thing. I'm a math teacher and. People don't remember their numbers.
Oh, gosh.
Or they switch their number, like I'm a 5, you're a 6, and they text each other. Can we just do it? Can we count from 1?
Maybe
Can we
we-
do it? All right, here we go. We're starting over here.
1, 2.
6.
3.
4.
We're going to get started because we've only got 10 minutes. It's us folks, right? So, my name is Jeff Riggs, and my good friend is Gerald Smith. So, Gerald asked that I come over and work one of these stations, okay? So, he didn't give me a lot of prep, so all I know is I need to know from you guys where we're going. Okay, now do you guys all know each other? Okay, then let's get to know each other a bit. So how long you been on the board? What's your role? What are you excited about right now? There you go.
I'm the
Okay, true, because of the election. You're worried about the election.
I'm worried about it.
Got it. Okay, so that's something you're worried about, not something you're excited about.
No, what I'm excited about raising the rocket is trying to get things done.
And keep the momentum. I got it. Okay. Go ahead.
I am really upset about the elections.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm really concerned about the
Okay. Okay. Are you on the board?
No, I'm not.
You're on the board. You're just thinking about being on the board.
She is engaged me as I like
Perfect. That's what we need. You,
Hi,
sir.
I'm Paul Ricci. I'm here from Johnstown. I am an IUP alum.
Nice.
And I am covering, well, I'm not a member, I'm covering this for my website, Allegheny Independent Media.
Okay.
And I hope you don't mind me filming.
No, you can. Sure. That's great.
Okay, this will be on YouTube.
Okay, good.
And hopefully that gets to amplify your message.
Good. Well, thank you. Yeah.
And so yes. Well, we are also looking for contributors. If anybody wants to write about like things in Indiana County.
Okay, good. Then they can get connected with you.
Yes.
Okay, good. I understand. Kyle.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kyle Mundry. I am on the slate of nominations for the board. I've been kind of what's it called, transition board for the last 12 months or so.
I was going to say, I thought you were on.
Yeah, I'm on the.
All right, rotating. You guys are heading to shuffle puck, but you can continue the conversation.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna.
Come back.
Otherwise, you can have it for free.
Okay, so here's a talk about where we've been.
Where we've been, and Tina knows this as well as I do, but she's been there all along too.
Both founders.
And I did not prepare for this because I had no idea this was happening until I arrived tonight. And G told me to sit here because my name was up there. And I was not at the original meeting. I joined pretty early on.
What year? What just for him and I? What?
Right after the 2012 election,
Yeah.
we really organized.
November 12,
Okay.
2012.
So.
But and we used to meet at G's house
Yeah.
on a regular basis.
So
Early on, I know I was asked to represent the board on the board of the Northern Appalachian Folk Festival. We were one of the early sponsors of that until that took off and became a self.
So is this analogous to the Thomas Merton Center in Pittsburgh?
Not quite. We're not so much into peace studies as we are into building things in the community that make it the kind of community we'd like it to be. So we ran, early days, we ran a film series at the Indiana Theater of progressive films, and we always had a panel afterwards to discuss the film.
I think on one of those panels we did have somebody from the Thomas Merton Center,
Oh,
though,
we may have, yeah, I mean,
as a panelist.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't think our organization was ever really analogous to the
Okay.
No, I think they have a different vision.
One of the things that spun out of that, and I just learned from Eric Marker that he was part of doing that. We were looking for a place on Philadelphia Street to have a presence, and we've been talking about sustainable food, local food sources, and we decided to start a food co-op. And that lasted for a little over a year, 14 months, but we had a food co-op that we ran in where Lamuna is now.
Was that the Funky Brunch era?
We
Funky
know it
Brunch
was
was in
after
there.
Funky Brunch.
Yeah, like
Funky
I'm
Brunch was there
specifically
before
from Homer City,
we got
so we're
there.
directly
Um,
impacted by the power plant.
We
I'm
had
also
a
on the
number
school
of
board, so
farmers
that
who
also
supplied us with
directly
things, and we had a
affects
membership
us. And my
who
mission
worked
is to
there.
make sure that Homer Center
We
is
hired
taken
somebody to
consideration
run it to begin with,
instead
who
of
turned out
falling into one of these
was not really doing the
consolidation
job
things
properly.
that's not
So we had to let her go, and then
we like our community and
one of the problems when you hire people,
so my biggest thing is how
they're
can we
never who
bring
you think they are.
into the community and provide
Although right now,
space
I haven't heard any
for
complaints
that,
about our
for
current
that,
staff.
to bring in
But we couldn't even
and I
have
hate to
dreamed
say
of
this,
having
but we
a
need to bring
staff in
younger
those
people
days.
that have families.
We
We
did
need
talk
to
about
supply the school
making
bus.
ourselves a
If our numbers
501c3,
drop too low,
but
that's
we
gonna
never
be
quite
without furloughed teachers.
got
That's
there.
our last hour.
And then somehow after we went dormant during the pandemic, some people, not me, pulled it together and got it, and all of a sudden we became eligible for all this grant money that now we've gone from an organization with no money to an organization that's, well, we're not.
4 figures to 6 figures.
So that's
I think at one point I joked that the center waited for me to go to law school so I could incorporate us in 501c3. Like, early on at this, when we were having meetings, I'm like, I should go to law school. I'm going to go to law school. And I'm like, you know what? That costs too much. I'm not doing it. And then while the center was dormant, I did. And then it's like, hey, the center's coming back. And that's like right when I had finished and graduated and took the bar exam. So
she did not abandon us.
and I'm like, well, I'm back, but I can't. You can either have me as your solicitor or on your board. So
Timing, coincidence, timing, whatever. You know, call it what you want. But yeah, maybe it was destined. maybe it was. Is this your kind of first nonprofit since law school?
since law school, I did a few in law school.
Awesome. Well,
the other thing we
take
did,
that experience and knowledge and make us a powerhouse. So
we
we appreciate it.
instrumental in getting the sustainability task force, which is now, or we have an annual summit, and then we used to do more in between the summits than we do now, but that group still brings people together to focus on sustainability issues, environment, employment, building. There's another one, I can't remember what the other one is.
So,
But that's kind of where we've been.
okay.
Any questions?
Helps explain.
So what do you teach? You teach at
I
IUP?
retired a long time ago from IUP, but I used to teach Spanish.
Teach Spanish. Oh, okay.
I retired in 2011,
Okay.
and I'm on the Borough Council now. I've been on the Borough Council ever since. As I was getting ready to retire, somebody handed me a petition and said, here, you only need 10 more signatures and you can be on the ballot.
Well, while we have 30 seconds, and since you're apt and relevant and can remember it, I'm thinking about our old thing. We were talking about where we're going next. You guys both cited environmental issues. I would have as well. And I'm thinking about our co-op, right? Like we had a good co-op, Indiana County, the solar co-op. Round 1 was great. Round 2 was good. Round 3, COVID happened, and then like it's just kind of been silent since. And the way that works is Solar United Neighbors, a municipality, and a nonprofit work together to do it. And I feel the borough would probably step into that role again. I feel Eden would be totally fine. Trajan would manage it. I think the center should be that nonprofit. Last time it was Evergreen Conservancy. I think we could take the mantle. I've already done it twice. For the borough. When
Where we're supposed to be.
What are you? Oh, did you?
we're supposed to be where we are.
Create a solar
We know
co-op.
where we are. We're at the Coney.
I'm supposed
That makes no sense at all.
I'm supposed to be on the sofa.
Was nice too.
Allie and I have an advantage because we have couches.
Yeah,
This
I
is
know.
a
That's what we came
wonderful-
back. We came back because we like the couches.
Oh, look, I'll go stand in for you guys.
Go
This'll
stand
be
in front
great.
and okay. So what else do we have?
Ellie, you have beautiful hair.
Thank you. What else?
I need it cut real bad.
What we want to do next.
Yeah.
More grant money for sure.
More grant
More
money.
IFCOM, as we call it. Not yes.
Kyle's coming.
I think you guys should
Jeff
start
put his job.
applying for various funding. I have a couple of ideas for grants that you could apply for.
Yes.
We need those ideas totally.
You apply for foundation grants.
Don't let the lefty write it. I can't see, but I can write
You would
it.
qualify for foundation grants.
Oh, for sure, yeah. That's they just got actually, so we have in the queue right now a DOE grant. We just applied for a Community Foundation Allegheny grant.
Qualify for DOS grants as well.
DOS is a good
Yeah,
one.
well,
What's that?
you know, I mean, one idea I could think of, you know, more like just building on the solar co-op thing, you know, have like more employee-owned co-ops.
That's been like the biggest, I think, stumbling
You
block.
know, it's
Like,
Put
I mean, I don't know how to like get money because one of the things that
Well, so co-op and employee owned, I guess, are slightly separate, but they're both
yeah.
support.
no over here.
Support ego and co-ops. Because employee ownership. I work for an employee owned company. I'm getting a bonus tomorrow actually for our and I'm like, I was shocked. I was like,
Yeah,
companies
well,
do this?
Well,
We had a profitable quarter and we're sharing
I
dividends
mean,
with
a
our group.
plant that's employee-owned can't really be shut down and moved to Mexico.
Oh yeah. No, it's I mean unions are great, but like that's the next level. Hey, we don't need a union. We're all shareholders of our success. It's a great model. I love it. And co-ops are like, hey, okay, do you know Land O'Lakes is a co-op?
No, I didn't.
It is.
I know.
That's how they compete with all. It's just a bunch of farmers in like Kansas and a bunch of areas. They all produce. That's Land O'Lakes. Isn't it? It's cool. Co-ops
really
can be
cool.
very successful.
Yeah.
A lot of the major power companies in Europe are co-ops. Power of the people. The song's called Alley. She's around. But yeah, good, great input.
The United Nations has tried to steal.
What else do we think? That's where I'm focused right
Cease and
now.
desist order.
I know they want to see. I feel like other people are coming to these.
Obviously, they
One there and one
Affordable
over there.
housing, develop a sensory trail. What's a
Yeah.
sensory trail?
You know, they have like sensory rooms for children with like autism, things like that.
Alright.
They said that up at Cook's Forest they built like a sensory trail. I'm really special. I really do want to go to the gym.
See, that makes sense.
We don't really have anything like that.
Rebuilding social
Does
housing.
anybody want anything?
I'm good for right now. Appreciate it.
Would you like a drink?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah, those are what we have from the past groups.
Yeah, I think we're being a little more just like. I didn't want to just repeat things you already said, right?
Yeah, that's
So-
very,
We support education.
creating jobs and actually now you like that's that's also very development of
My name's Misty, and I do a lot of things with my professional
Especially concrete.
support. I run the Homer City Food.
It's a very good. And I'll be honest, I work for an engineering firm, and they are hemp concrete is a real like.
I'm like obsessed with it. I'm like, we have all this
School and
Well, and it can be pervious too. Which is
like
whatever I
people
can
should be
do. I enjoy
invested in like growing hemp and developing it into
you guys kind of move in that direction.
This is kind of wonky, I guess, but I'm a little concerned. I don't know about the bills, not bills, but like the ordinances that are being passed, like White Township, Center Township. They're passing ordinances about cleaning up solar farms.
All right, we got one more.
We don't want people to be able to just abandon this and have land that can. That's fair, but I feel like they're using models that are outdated. Like solar developers are talking about like, hey, like they're using samples from like years ago that don't really work well anymore.
So I went to the sustainability summit last like brownfields into
Yeah.
And that was one thing that we brought a lot of
And that's what I'm kind of getting at. Is like I don't want townships to kind of stumble into a very like heavy-handed ordinance that makes the developers go, it's just not worth dealing with this place. But they don't actually know what they're signing. Like, they're just like, hey, we went on, you know, we trust our staff. Our staff found this model and we adopted it. But it's like, okay, but that doesn't exist.
I'm trying to think which one they haven't been through yet.